Are we live? Are we live? Hey guys, it's Muddy and you're welcome back to Muddy Speaks. I decided to go live today because I wanted us to have this conversation and it is very, very important. Okay. This would be my second time going live on YouTube, but it would be my first time going live alone. The first time I went live I was with a guest, so this time I'm going alone. I'm discussing alone. Um I'm fairly new here. I don't know how all these things works, but I'm going to try my best. Anyway, I can see I don't have anyone here. I don't have anyone. Okay, I someone joined. I don't know how who you are. Hello. You're welcome to my live stream. I'm gonna see if some people are gonna join me before I continue. It's possible that at the end of this live video, I won't have anyone joining me live, and it's perfectly okay. I just want to have this conversation with some of my subscribers who are fortunate enough to catch me live. Hello, Digital Gypsy. Welcome to the live stream. We're going to be having a very important conversation today, and I don't have anyone helping me to moderate. I'm the one doing everything, but no worries, no worries. I'm going to be handling things alone. I'm waiting to see if people will come online, but if I don't see anyone, I'm gonna kick off because I don't want people who are gonna watch this as a replay to waste so much time before they get into the nitty gritty of the video. So I'm going to continue. Let me just state a few things before moving on. In this live stream, viewers can join my link. If there's opportunity for viewers to talk, you people can use the link in the description box. Okay, so you can join the conversation. And if I happen to have people who super chat me for over $5, once the super chat is above $5, I'm going to be reading the comments immediately as they appear on screen. And if I'm lucky, if I have people who want to super chat maybe below $5 or so, I will highlight the comments, but I'll read it at the end of the stream. And again, I just want to commence by saying that the platform is always kind of censoring my view videos. I cannot make money off of my videos. Of course, I'm not doing this for the money, okay? So I just want to have these conversations because I believe it is important that we talk about these things. So if you want to support me in any way, you can join my membership to support me that way. It's not by force, it's just voluntary, okay? But if you want to support, you can support me by joining my membership. So, what we're going to be discussing today, looking at the topic, the shocking truth about the African slave trade. I have been making videos that are quite controversial. My videos are centered around race and ethnicity and stuff like that. And most of my viewers are always having conflicting opinions. Okay, people are always having conflicting opinions. I normally go through my comment section at the end of every video, and I find it interesting that a lot of people have quite contrasting opinions. And I hope we're gonna be talking about any opinion you have here on my live session with the link in the description when the live commences properly. If you have something you have to share, I want to learn from you, and I believe maybe you can learn one or two things from me too. So I'm open to learn from you. I have noticed that whenever Black people, especially, hear about white people, especially, they are so filled with rage. There's a kind of dislike, okay, they have for white people. And I have discovered that this dislike stems from the fact that they are angry that white people once enslaved Black people in history. So, but the problem is, I don't know if most of us Black people are kind of misinformed, or are we ignorant to the fact that um, slavery slavery was not just perpetrated by white people. So as we're going on in this live, I want us to take at least three things from this live video. Okay, the first thing we should have at the back of our mind is the fact that slavery was a two-way street. Okay, it was a kind of a thing of demand and supply. You had people who had the products, and then the other person were the people who were willing to purchase the product. So it was a two-way street. The white people were there, but there were also another group of people, which are the black people. Okay, so that's number one thing you have to take away from this video, that slavery was a two-way street. Okay, it was not only perpetrated by white people. The second thing I want us to understand in this live stream is that slavery was a normal thing in the past. Okay, slavery was the norm in history. It wasn't seen as taboo. It wasn't a taboo. If you look at so many things that we are condoning today, okay, I'm going to mention something. I don't want to sound like I don't hate this particular set of people, but I'm going to use them as an example. When we talk about LGBTQ people, the gay people, the lesbians, today the society is so accommodating of these people, all right? But if you take a look at our society um, in the earliest times, these people who call themselves LGBTQ wouldn't be alive today. Okay, they would not be alive. But today, it is people. We are so accommodating of people who say they are something other than the gender that they are. That was the way slavery was in the past. Slavery was normal. So many people were enslaved. Okay, so many territories and countries were enslaved. It was just the norm then. It wasn't a taboo. All right. So that's number two thing you have to take away from this live stream. Number three, I think, should be that people were enslaved because they were weak, not because of the color of their skin. All right. If Africans had the resources and the manpower and the intelligence, okay, and and the resources to enslave people, they will. Of course, they enslaved other Africans, but if they had the resources to enslave non-Africans, they will, right? So the people who enslaved people because they had the resources in their disposal. It was not because of the skin color of that person. It was because they were stronger. Because then the world was kind of operating on the principles of survival of the fittest. All right. If you're stronger than these people, you get to enslave them. You get to do this and oppress them. Again, before I move on, I want to reiterate the fact that I do not support slavery in any way. Slavery was bad. It was dehumanizing. It was despicable, and it needs to be condemned today. It is not something that I will ever support in any way, right? I just want to make that clear. But the reason I'm making this video is because whenever we talk about slavery, whenever we bring up the topic of slavery, Black people are quick to condemn a particular set of people and then behave as if their fellow Black people are kind of innocent in the issue of slavery. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to look at the impact or the roles Black people played during slavery, where Black people were they part of, but did they encourage slavery in any way? Did they push back against the end of slavery? Were they against the abolition of slavery? We're gonna look at all these things today. I'm sorry I'm stuttering. I did not kind of like I did not prepare myself before making this video. So if you have anything to add. Okay, this person said maybe you can answer my question. Why do they let slavery go on today in Africa? That's what we're going to be discussing today, right? Because so many people are outraged that white people enslaved them in the past, but slavery is going on in some parts of Africa today, currently in the year 2024. But everybody is kind of crickets about it. People are quiet about it. Aside from Africa, so many people enslaved Africans. You have the slavery that's going on in the Arab world, in the Muslim world, but nobody's talking about it. People are not outraged about it. People are only outraged when they think about the slavery that happened 400 years ago by white people. I don't know why they are so outraged about that particular aspect of slavery. Okay, before if you take a look at the word slavery there, you will understand that so many countries were enslaved. So many countries, almost all the countries of the world. I know it's not all, but majority of the countries of the world were enslaved. The Germans were enslaved at a point in time. The Indians were enslaved at a point in time. The You have the Irish people that were enslaved, indentured slaves and stuff like that. Most people were enslaved in history, but at a point they were kind of they were freed. Okay. Talking about slavery, the Africans themselves, our forefathers. Look at the Egyptians. The Egyptian kings, they had so many slaves toiling away in fields and monuments for them. The ancient kings of Carthage, the Carthage Empire, they had slaves, okay, that were toiling away for them in their farmlands. And you have the Ethiopian kings of Aksum, who had so much slaves, so many slaves that they acquired during war, right? So there were also slaves that were kind of African slaves that were exported through the Mediterranean Sea, all right, before the advent of the Europeans in Africa. Before the Europeans even stepped foot in Africa, slavery was already going on ground. They came there and met the trade on ground. So many Africans, especially from North Africa, they were being sold in the Arab world, right? And then you take a look at, because I'm West African, right? I'm from Nigeria. So looking at West Africa, it is true that West Africa was kind of protected. They were kind of shielded from the trans-Saharan slavery, right? They were kind of shielded. But this was mostly because of geographical reasons, right? They were kind of, West Africa was kind of like apart in terms of geography from the Arab world, like the African Arabs, right? So this was why there were not many West African slaves, maybe in India or in Egypt or in Somali or stuff like that. But before the Europeans came to West Africa, right? Before the Europeans came to West Africa, African empires. Look at the Mali, in Mali. This man, what was that? His name, Mansa Musa. Yeah, Mansa Musa was a very rich man. He was well known, very, very famous for his gold and salt. But do you know that this gold and salt that made him so popular, right, was gotten from slave labor? And the slaves I'm talking about are not maybe African Arabs. No, I'm talking about Africans that had the same color as him, were enslaved and used as manpower to dig those salts and to dig those gold, right? That was Mansa Musa. He was a very rich man in Mali Empire. We talk about the Sokoto Caliphate of Nigeria. You had the Sokoto Empire was built on the back of slaves. Talk about the Ghanaian Empire, was built on the back of slaves. But nobody's talking about that. The Almoravid dynasty was built on the back of slaves. But we're not talking about that, right? Forget about the slavery that is still prevalent today. Yeah, slavery is prevalent today. But when you look at the slavery that perpetuated in the past, Africans were already enslaving each other before the advent of the Europeans in Africa. We're going to take a look at this video. This video is kind of showcasing slavery from the Nigerian point of view, right? How slavery started in Nigeria, the parts that white people played in slavery, the part that black people played in slavery as regards to Nigeria. Let's take a look at this video and then we will talk about it, right? Yes. I'm going to put this here.
In the slave trade. So I want you guys to come along with me and go through. Yes. When I was younger, I used to hear stories about how foreign ships used to come down to the coast of Nigeria and take a lot of us away as slaves, like in millions, to go and work for them overseas under very inhumane conditions. Off the coast of Lagos is a place called Badagry, and this place holds a significant history in the slave trade. So I want you guys to come along with me and let's see what happens in Badagry. I have long legs. Badagry is a place where many slaves were kept, and it's also a place that tells the story of how the slave trade started. It was one of the major routes for the transatlantic slave trade. I don't really know a lot about the slave trade, so I decided to go down here and meet up with somebody whose grandparents were alive during the era of the slave trade to tell me the story about how slave trade started in Nigeria. How far now? How are you doing? Yeah. Right? Yeah,
Companies of all sizes use BigQuery to uncover new insights from their data, like cost savings.
The compound that we are is known as Brazilian barracoon. And barracoon is a Portuguese word meaning slave cell or storehouse where the slave were being stored. And the compound right now, we have to talk about 40 rooms in this compound.
Okay, so this is where they kept slaves?
Yes, in the olden days. And that should say each room contained 40 slaves. So this is called cowrie shell, as you can see.
Okay.
So those are the kind of currency our forefathers used then.
Yeah, this is what they used to use as means of exchange.
Yeah, but when they came, them say they can do business with our father with this kind of money. Right on the wall, these were some of the European products that were used in exchange for the slave when they arrived. Like if the European give you one umbrella, you give them 40 human beings as a slave.
Okay. Is this one of the rooms that this 40 people?
Yes, yeah.
40 people?
40, yeah.
Inside here?
Yeah, and we have.
He said, if God, if the Europeans give you, Jesus Christ, if they give you one bottle, our forefathers will give them 40 human beings in exchange. If they give you one umbrella, our forefathers will give them 40 human beings in exchange. Like these houses right here were built by our own people. You saw the barracoon, those rooms, those tiny rooms that contained about each tiny room there contained about 40 human beings, right? They were built by our own people on our own soil. Not the Europeans, not white men. Our people built those houses, those very tiny rooms, and they will give 40 of our own people to the white man in exchange for just one umbrella. Oh God, when I see people getting so outraged at white people, but they now sent their own people. They kind of make their own people look innocent. I just laugh at the ignorance. I just laugh at the ignorance. Yes, the white people were you know, like they were the culprits, but they were not alone. You had our own people taking us and selling us. This is mad, honestly.
We have 40 rooms in the compound.
Wow.
This one is called green yoke. They use it to join two slaves together. They put this at the ankle or the
Okay, to join two slaves together by the leg.
Now, look at that small window tile. Can you see that small window there?
Yeah.
And that's what we provided the ventilation. Imagine 40 able human beings in there for 3 to 4 months.
40 human beings inside here.
Imagine the odor, the heat. Imagine how many human beings they will have died here. That's the reason when people come there, tell them you are not here to cash fund, but just to feel the pain the people at the bars are felt. And those are the items that are showing on the wall. Each go for 10 sleep. These are 50 human beings. Look at your back there. This bottle, if you look closely at the body, you see 1873. They customized on the body. That's 10 human beings standing. So,
guys, can you imagine the conditions that the slaves had to live in? 40 people in a room that is not even enough for one person. 40 people had to stay inside that room. I can't even begin to imagine how most of them would have felt.
So these are the canon.
Okay.
100, that's 200 slaves.
Wow.
For this cannons,
You can't give you the long one, you give them 100 human beings, another 100.
That's wow.
These are the chains they use for the slaves.
Yeah, see, that's why I say you can see how.
Wow. So they put it, let me try it.
Okay. So just tell the people how you feel.
Wow, this is heavy, man. Fuck, this is heavy. Ouch. It's even drawing my neck. Guys, this is heavy, man. And this is what they wear on their neck, all true?
Yes, it should be in a single file, in a straight road. This is another neck. It could have been like 100 of them.
Wow, man, guys, this is very heavy. And they wear this all day, every time.
Yeah, while they're taking it away.
And it's even, this thing at the back is so not comfortable.
Yeah. And that's their drinking pot here.
Oh, this is where they drink
They
from.
don't allow them to use cup, but it's almost they tie the hand of the but they do water this way.
Wow.
So
everybody goes in.
Imagine why the water gets below, why struggling, the earth can still injure the slave.
Wow.
Help drive sales, leads, or site traffic by getting your business in front of people.
Just putting the chain on my neck, those chains were so heavy and it was hurting my neck, as you can see in the video. And these people had to go through all of this and they had no choice. Separated from their families, separated from everybody that they knew, and sold. As you can imagine how these people were treated. So now we're going to the point of no return. And for us to do that, we have to cross over this lagoon here and get to the other side. That's where we see the point of no return. Point of no return is a point where once slaves get to, they can't come back anymore.
You know, Badagry was founded around 1425.
Okay.
By a man called Agbede.
Agbede. Okay.
Yeah. And Agbede means blacks meat in Yorubas. The slave ship, which is called cargo ship,
okay,
will be awaiting the slave
on the other side.
At the other side of the
That's
beach.
At the Atlantic Ocean.
Yeah. They will come in, get to the town, get the number of slaves that they want.
Okay.
After getting the slaves, they will now walk there in a single file.
Down to the beach.
They'll be in a straight roll.
Wow.
And that heavy chain will be on their necks.
You know, most times when they talk about the slave trade,
okay,
it's always looking like, okay, it's just only the Europeans that were selling slaves. But it kind of seems like we Nigerians were also selling ourselves as slaves.
Very, very correct. Like me, that I'm standing with you.
Yeah.
My forefathers were not slave traders, but we own slaves.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
You understand? How do we own our slave? If you have the money, then you can move down to the market.
Yeah.
And buy your slaves.
Okay.
In the market, you buy slaves.
Wow. So they used to sell slaves like food.
Something
like
that.
Going to Mr. Biggs.
You see, this is what really happened. It's of two sides of it.
Okay.
In some part of Congo, even part of Nigeria, there's some places that they invaded.
Okay.
And they took the people away forcefully as a slave.
Okay.
But in some part of it, there's some part whereby the Africans, locals or the chiefs, the warrior, they are also their facilitators. They sell their own people. Because when they came, okay, they, we fought war then.
Okay.
You know, man want to dominate your domain, your kingdom.
Okay.
You understand? That ego is within us.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So, like now, if your village and my village had a fight, eventually, if you won the fight, you take the people away as a slave to your own town.
To your own town, just like
working, you understand?
Just like they do in war. And
the victim of war, you understand?
Yeah.
So they'll be working for you.
Yeah.
But when the Europeans came, they met the trade on ground.
Oh, they met the slave trade. So the slave trade was already happening when they
before
came.
They arrived. Yeah.
Wow.
So they met the trade on ground.
Hear that? When the Europeans came, they met the trade on ground. The trade was already going on. They came and met the trade on ground. Slave trading did not become when the Europeans came to Africa. Okay? Slave trading has been going on since the 3rd century. From 3rd to 13th century, Africans has been selling each other. Africans has been enslaving each other. Africans has been selling each other. If you read about the Dahomey tribe, right, you will know that what they are portraying in movies is extremely false. The Dahomey tribe kicked against the abolishment of slavery, right? To the extent that there was a time they offered up to 4,000 slaves to be killed so they can pray to their God. It was like an offering to their God to shield them from the attacking Europeans that came to abolish slavery in Africa. Because when slavery was abolished all over the world, Africans were also carrying out domestic slavery. They were still selling slaves, buying slaves, dehumanizing slaves. But then the British now came with their ammunitions, okay, with their armies. They came with their weapons to destroy these people that were against the abolishment of slavery. And these people, these elite people in African societies, then they had to slaughter so many slaves to give it up as offering. The Dahomey tribe themselves, they slaughtered over 40,000 slaves. Sorry, over 4,000, not 40, 4,000 slaves in a day as sacrifice so that they can defeat the Europeans in order to enable slavery to keep going on. So the Europeans came here, and met the slave on ground. And then what did they do? They profited off of the trade that was on ground. Let's continue.
Okay.
We been enslaving ourselves before they arrive Africa. We betrayed ourselves, which is still happening up to date.
Up to today, yeah. That's where I'm going to with this, yeah.
So if you check record, go and check record, or quote me.
Yeah.
Most of the slave facilitators, their children were the ones still ruling in Africa up to date. Yeah.
Very
So you
true.
see the same system going now
Very real.
up till date. The blames are on both sides, the European and the African. Facilitators. You understand?
Yeah.
As a child, when I was growing up, the story my own forefather, my grandfather, my father used to tell me then about who we are on the surface of earth, I realized that we are very, very powerful. We can disappear. You can tell the ground to open, it will open.
That's Africans, right?
Africa, yes.
Yeah.
How comes the European comes around and force
us to do what we didn't want to do, yeah?
Later, I now realize that we sold
ourselves
into slavery. They know that we are very, very powerful. They know who we are. You understand?
But it seems we don't know who we are. We don't know the power that we have.
We know that we are very powerful. Out of 12 disciples, there will always be a Judas.
We're Judas.
You understand? Somebody must betray one person. You understand? Slave spirit add to a nation.
Well.
Let's say the water. To buttress. Now, who dug this well? That's the question. This well was dug by the African chiefs. Why do they have to dig the well? Good. Now, the movement of Africans to America through that, it's known as Middle Passage. They call it Middle Passage. And the name of the slave ship is called cargo ship, which could take like 600, 700. You know, it was the Portuguese that started the trade.
Yeah.
Most of the slave moved from Africa then, they student to Lisbon.
Okay.
Lisbon is a very big slave market in Portugal then.
Yeah.
Where everybody get their slave. Then later, along that, the English joined. And the name of the first slave ship is being Jesus of Lubeck, or Good Ship Jesus, owned by King Henry VIII of England then. But later, Queen Elizabeth rented it out to one of the slave party called John Hawkins. And they started taking Africans away as a slave to work for them. And most of the town in America, even though the White House was built by
black people.
Now, on the slave ship, we could have like 600, 700, 200. It depends the size of the slave ship. And the crew that were taking the slave away, they are no more than probably 25 to 30 people. They were taking like 600 or 300 slaves away. So most often, why taking it away? If the slaves spotted the land and it's aggravated, you understand, or they have any opportunity, they'll kill all the crew on board. They will not add the sailor to sail down to any available land. They will not occupy. The only person they will not kill them is the sailor. They will ask the sailor to sail back to any available. I think that's what happened in Guadeloupe and most of the Caribbean.
Okay.
Haiti, Bahama,
all those places, yeah.
So now the African chiefs came up with idea. What can they do so that the slave will be less aggressive? That's where they have to do the work. Once the slave walk in a single file without heavy chain, the stopover will be here. They'll give them the water to drink. When they consume the water, we are told that they will lose their memory.
Wow, it will wipe their memory?
But it's not for life, for 3 to 4 months. It will weaken them. Not really that you wipe, when we wipe their memory. Yeah. Why are they taking them as they wipe? You know they can't.
Sure, they can't do anything.
So guys, what they are saying, you had everything, okay? I'm running late. I'll be leaving this stream very soon. So I need to conclude everything. Then I'll be in the comment section for people that will have any kind of disagreements. So you see what happened when they are taking these African slaves to Europe, okay? What normally happens is that sometimes the slaves do rebel on the road to Europe. On the way to Europe, they will rebel. Sometimes they end up killing all their captors, and then they will tell the sailor to sail the ship to a nearby land, and then they will set up camp there, and they will kind of establish a territory there. That was how you had these Africans in the Caribbeans and stuff like that. So what our African ancestors did to make sure that their brothers and sisters were actually enslaved, in the white man's land, what they did was to go and dig a well, and they did some certain sacrifices, some certain traditional stuff to make that well so potent that when these slaves drink water from this well, they will kind of be weak. They will be weak and they will forget themselves. They will not have they will not have the mind. They will not think about rebelling. They will not think about fighting their captors. You get? It was our forefathers who made sure that their brothers and sisters whom they sold as slaves were successfully transported to Europe. They didn't want to leave any stone unturned. They made sure that their brothers and sisters did not have any kind of any way of returning to Africa again. They wanted their brothers and sisters to be sold as slaves in the European land. That was why they dug that particular well. Now, watching this video, these are things you can go and read for yourself in a book, but I just wanted to play some parts of that video here so that some of us who don't have the opportunity to look into a book can see it here. Because when I see the argument that some of us are making, the argument whenever you bring up slavery, they are behaving as if our forefathers, our African forefathers, are totally innocent, right? It is very, very cringy. It's as if they have not read any book about slavery. Yeah, the white men actually exploited people. They actually exploited people, but our own people, right? Our own people gave them the way. They paved the way for them, made it very easy for them to exploit us. Anyway, guys, I'll be closing this live stream. We can have more discussion in the comment section below. I have to run along. Thank you for watching this video. If you've not subscribed, please do well to subscribe to my channel. I wish I can stay more. Really, I have a lot of things to say, but maybe next time we can continue from where we stopped. Thanks for watching. If you've not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, like and share this video to help the channel out. And I hope to catch you next time on this channel. For now, I'm gonna leave. Bye bye.